guys, so I'm going to be making this chocolate hazelnut cake. This cake I've made quite a few times before. It is absolutely beautiful. So let's get started. First we will need half a cup of cocoa powder. So I just use the Pam stuff, that's the cheapest stuff at the moment. So it's half a cup of that, just put it into a little bowl. Half a cup of cocoa powder. Should come to about 69 cents. Now I'm giving you the price of all the ingredients. Bearing in mind, as of the start of December 2019, these prices were accurate from the pack and save that I went to. So, you know, bear that in mind. It's an indication though. And to that, you'll also want to add half a cup of boiling water. And give that a good mix. Oh, that smells so good. And the kids aren't here today. You'll notice there's a distinct lack of children. 2 are at school and one's at preschool, because it's Aston's preschool day today. So it's Sam's birthday on Sunday and I'm going to be busy tomorrow, so I've kind of got to, it's now Friday, I've got to make the cake now. So just mix that up till it's nice and dissolved, and you'll just want to set that aside to cool for a bit while you do this other stuff. This forms a nice yummy paste that I just want to, but that would not be classy. Cocoa powder is one of those deceptive things. It actually doesn't taste nice, it just smells good. So we want 185 grams of butter. Now, of course, me being me, Valley brand table spread. So 185 grams of this stuff should come to about 48 cents. Of course, if you are using much more expensive substitutes like actual butter, it will cost more. This is actually going to be a video of 3 parts. Part 1 is going to be making this chocolate hazelnut cake, because this cake is so good, it is too good a recipe to not share. I will also, because I'm probably going to end up making more icing than what I need for this, I'm going to show you what to do with leftover icing that I recently discovered is brilliant, other than just sitting down and eating it, which is also a good option. Also, apparently this cake has to be a unicorn. I've never made a unicorn cake before. I've got a bit of an idea in my head what I want to do, but I'm going to film me doing it. If I release the video of me turning this cake into a unicorn eventually, then I succeeded. If not, look out for the video entitled How to Make a Rhinoceros Cake or something. How to make an alien looking unicorn cake. Scare the children. Now you also want 1.5 cups of sugar. Bag of sugar. Normally I dispense this into something, I just never quite got around to it. The funny thing is, this is also Granddad's birthday cake. My dad. Because him and Sam's birthdays are only a few days apart, so whatever cake she has is his. So Granddad's getting a unicorn cake this year. He's quite happy about it. The best thing was when it was his 70th and he got an Elmo cake. And you also want to put 1 teaspoon of vanilla essence in here. And this is another one of those moments where, you know, you could buy expensive vanilla essence or go vanilla pods or whatever. You know, Pam's imitation vanilla essence. Way to go. And we want to mix that all up till it's sort of pale and fluffy looking. Then want to get 3 eggs. Now eggs, it depends what type you buy. If you buy the big, you know, the big trays of cage eggs, they'll cost you less. We've got our own chickens, so when they're not freeloading, we've got a plentiful supply of eggs. At the moment we've got more eggs than I know what to do with. Yeah, of course, I'm basing this on if you're buying sort of free range eggs for, you know, $5 for 12 eggs. Now you just want to add these eggs one at a time, and then give it a mix. Just give it a mix between eggs. It's just looking nice and smooth now. So we are going to put this cocoa mixture in there. See, I already said that. Cocoa powder and water, it just doesn't taste as Why did I put that in my mouth? It smells yummy. Normally I rely on the kids to make me look unprofessional. Turns out I can do it by myself. We're also going to add half a cup of Nutella, the secret ingredient to this cake. I say Nutella, this isn't Nutella. This is Pam's Smooth Hazelnut Spread. It is less than half the price of actual Nutella. So this will cost about $1.20 for half a cup. Use proper good old branded Nutella. Oops. Put my thumb in it. It's like chocolate hazelnut truffles when you eat it by the spoonful. Not that I would ever know about doing anything like that. Cups worth. There's no major crime if a little bit more ends up in there. Can we give that a good mix up? We're going to add 1.5 cups of self-raising flour. Again, good old Pam stuff, it works out the cheapest. About 32 cents for 1.5 cups of self-raising flour. And then we want half a cup of just plain flour, which will come to all of about 8 cents. Now let's talk about the next ingredient it says to put in, because it says to put in buttermilk. Whenever I make this cake, I traipse around the supermarket looking for buttermilk. And for some reason I always think it's going to be in a can in the baking section of the supermarket, kind of like condensed milk sort of thing. No, it's not. It's actually in the fridge section, in the top row, above all the other milks and stuff. So just so you know, saving you wandering around asking staff members and them looking confused at you, because that's what they do. So I found buttermilk. There's only one option in the supermarket that I went to. You could buy a 600ml container of it for $3.99, and I thought, I'm only going to use a bit of that. I've no idea what else to do with buttermilk. I think there are recipes. I think you make like pancakes or scones or something out of buttermilk, I'm not sure. But it would cost about $1.19 for the amount that needs to go in here. Now, I looked on the side of the packet at what actually is buttermilk. And it was basically milk with cultures, and I thought, that sounds like yogurt to me. I don't know what buttermilk tastes like, to be honest, on its own. It's been ages and ages. I think I have tasted it once before, but I don't know. But, as you all know, I make my own Greek yogurt. Apparently, I have done some research. Yogurt and buttermilk can be directly substituted for each other in recipes. Just use the exact same amount of yogurt you would buttermilk. Apparently there's also a way of substituting buttermilk by using regular milk and mixing in, like, I think it's a teaspoon of lemon juice for a cup of milk. Don't quote me on that exactly, but it's something like that. So, you know, it's worth looking up cheaper substitutes if you can. But I make my own Greek yogurt, and that will come to 45 cents for 3/4 of a cup, which is what I need to go in here. So I'm going to do that. I make that with the slow cooker. It is really simple. I substitute sour cream for my Greek yogurt too. It's just so cheap to make, and it is so handy to have. I make pizza bases with it. I make English muffins with it. It is awesome. So even if the family are going through a phase of not eating it on its own or with fruit or whatever, you can always use it. You can use yogurt that's just about to expire to make like English muffins or pizza bases, and just stick them in the freezer for when you need them. It's brilliant stuff. Mix that all together. There's no kids, so I'm totally going to lick these beaters, both of them, by myself. Oh yeah. Bake that in the oven. I've preheated the oven at 170 degrees. I'm going to measure it so I can sound professional, like I know exactly the type of cake tin you want. It's about a 22 centimetre cake tin. There you go. So we just want to grease that so that you don't get all the cake stuck to it. Yes, I am just using my hands to grease it. I'm all out of paper towels or anything. And, well, who cares? My hands are clean. I'm going to wash them. You don't have to eat it. Tip this mixture in. Now, I'm going to make the correct amount of icing, but I'm actually not going to use all of the icing on this cake because I'm actually going to be covering it probably tomorrow in marshmallow fondant in order to turn it into a unicorn. So I'm just going to be putting a thin layer of icing on, but I'm going to make the amount that I would normally put on. Normally you lay it on reasonably thick. It is so decadent. It is so good. Yeah, so, but you know, semi-naked cakes, that's a fashionable thing at the moment apparently. So, you know, you could make a bit less of the icing to make it a bit cheaper and just put it on nice and thin. As I say, I'm just putting on a thin layer in order to get the marshmallow fondant to stick to the cake. I'll explain that all more when I actually do my unicorn icing video. You can laugh at me while I figure out how to make it work. It's going to go in the oven, 170 degrees, for about 1 hour and 10 minutes, or until a skewer comes out clean. Now the cake is in the oven. This place is smelling yummy. It's about 10 minutes off being done, but I'm just going to start making the icing, this disgustingly decadent icing. This is so good. So you will want 200 grams of dark chocolate. Now they had these Whittaker's Dark Garner, they had them on special for 99 cents each at the supermarket, so score. But you know, whatever's the cheapest kind of dark chocolate that you can find. It doesn't have to be cooking chocolate or anything like that, just whatever. Now you can melt this however you like. I like doing it like a double boiler method. So for anyone not familiar with a double boiler method, basically just a pan, boiling water, stick your chocolate over the top and give it a good stir up and let it melt. And that just prevents the chocolate from burning. Basically, if you put it straight into a pan, it's in danger of burning. You can put it in the microwave, that's fine, but just put it in for short bursts so that, as I say, just so it doesn't burn. That is lovely and melty. I actually thought I'd bought the normal amount that I normally get. Turns out I hadn't. I just bought like two 99-cent bars of it. So this is just 100 grams of dark chocolate, not 200 grams. However, I was only planning on putting half the amount of icing on the cake for what I need it for. So I was going to make the normal amount and show you what to do with leftover icing. So that stuffs up that idea, doesn't it? Another day, trust me. There are way too many people in this house that have birthdays. It's going to happen. So into that melted chocolate, just let it cool down for a couple of minutes. The trusty hazelnut spread. You want to add, if you're doing the full amount, which of course you are, unless you're turning it into a unicorn. So you want 200 grams of dark chocolate and 1 cup of hazelnut spread. I'm just going to add half a cup because I'm halving it. Right. And that is it as far as the icing goes. As I say, it's not the cheapest kind of icing you can make, but oh boy, it is really yummy and it goes so nicely with this cake. So just give that a mix up. And just set that to one side. It has just come out of the oven and it smells so good. So I'll pop that there, just let it sit in the cake pan for about 10 minutes. I've done the skewer test, it all seems to be cooked all the way through. Just leave it in the pan for about 10 minutes before taking it out. Okay, it's been 10 minutes, still feeling nice and warm. I want to turn this onto a wire rack. Let's see how uncoordinated I can look doing this. This is actually a cheesecake pan. But, you know, it's handy for releasing the edges of things. Look at that. Look at that. It's beautiful. What I'm going to do is, because of course you want your cake nice and flat. So, I'm just going to put this onto a plate. And I'll pop this on. So it is actually got the flat side down on here, because once it cools down completely, I want to hack that top bit off, just so it's sitting nice and flat. Right. So far I'm looking reasonably coordinated, I think. Let me know if I'm not. I don't trust just greasing it with butter as much as I trust baking paper. I'm trying to reduce my usage of stuff, so you know. I'm trying to be a good girl. Oh, look at that. That's a thing of beauty right there. Right. wire rack. Shong. You don't have to say shong, but it helps. Okay, right. Cake is still intact. The icing has cooled down, the cake has cooled down. It's all looking beautiful. Yeah, put that on there. My favourite thing to serve a cake on is a microwave dish. Nice size. Now, I'm going to get a bread knife. I'm going to try as hard as I can to cut this so it's reasonably nice and flat. I'll let the kids sample that when they come home from school. They'll already be angry at me for licking bowls and stuff without them. They won't be surprised, but they won't be impressed with me. So, I'll flip it over. So the spiffing, the lovely pristine part of it, look at that, is at the top. I mean, it's probably even enough to do the cake if you want to. If you do want to make it cheaper, because as you'll have sussed out, the price of the cake is about the same as the price of the icing if you do double this icing. It's one of those kind of icing that's not going to be, you can do like, you know, swirly patterns and stuff in it. Oh, so good. Even leave the sides bare and just sort of let it drip over. That can look quite decorative actually. I'm not sure about the icing, but I know the cake itself without the icing can freeze quite nicely. So I imagine with icing it'll still freeze nicely, but I mean, look at that. That is beautiful. This cost $8.38, you know, or if you want to double the icing and go all out, $11.90. So, you know, for around the $10 mark, making your own cake, and trust me, the flavour of this is beautiful. It is so nice. Hit the like button, leave me a comment, hit subscribe, and yeah, make a great big chocolate hazelnut cake. And also laugh at me next week trying to make this look like a unicorn. Oh, damn, I've got some on my finger. Okay, on my hand.